Well, as it has been said, I started a project on this topic with my history kids from last year. And before I'm going to share my experiences, I just want to tell you that Black history is not really mentioned in the Austrian history curriculum. While it falls under the category of globalization, but as this term suggests, it is a very broad topic. And so what I did is I decided to put a focus on this topic, not only because it's very important to me, but also because I do think that this topic doesn't get the attention that it deserves at school. And then we were back at school, and I was pretty excited because we were having the first face-to-face conversations about the topic, and everything was pretty odd. Nobody said a word at first, so my students felt very uncomfortable. And this showed me that society had already taught them to feel uncomfortable when this topic comes up. But I didn't give up. I was very persistent. And since we spent almost 4 months on this topic, after a while, my students realized, well, I know already a lot about the topic. I do have an opinion about certain things, and I want to share my opinion. And then the video of George Floyd's murder got viral, and I remember I had to teach a history lesson on this day, and my kids, they wanted to talk about it and they were confused. And this was the moment we decided that we need to speak up. If you decide to teach Black history, you have to be brutally honest. So for example, you have to acknowledge America's white supremacy from its founding to the present day. And the same goes, of course, with racism in Austria. You know, your kids need to know that deep patterns of racist thoughts are predominant in Austria today as they have been in the past. Because if you decide to teach them only one part of the story, how are they supposed to understand what is going on right now? And so, well, be honest, be brave, and don't let other people get into your head. Well, I think the education system in general needs to be way more supportive of anti-racism work. You know, I think that workshops, for example, should be required, not only for students, but also for teachers. I feel like that a lot of teachers are not aware what it means to do anti-racism work. So I do know some white teachers with primarily white students who feel pretty hesitant to discuss racism because they may not feel that it affects them. But this is some sort of fundamental misunderstanding of what anti-racist work is. So, you know, anti-racist work is acknowledging that racist beliefs and structures are dominant, and then actively doing work to tear down those beliefs and structures. I think a lot of people think that by doing anti-racist work, that they are automatically free of racism, which isn't true. We have to be aware of the fact that these structures we're working in and living in are based on discrimination and racism, and that these structures have created space for white supremacy. And this is why it's important to say that we have to acknowledge our own positions in a white supremacist system. And this is why, for me, it's very important, or I think anti-racism work requires a lot of self-reflection. So be aware of your implicit biases, learn how to listen, and most importantly, accept criticism. So this is what it means to be a true ally for me.